We had a very big house that we lived in. We had nice cars. Literally, we were living the American dream, but it still felt like a nightmare. I always say, slavery in America never ended. It just took on a new form. Nowadays, everybody, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, is a slave in America to the system that exists there. It's a type of slavery or being encaged that you don't even realize it. It's like a comfortable cage.
We actually achieved a good American life. I want you guys not to take it in a way that we're struggling financially. We were like probably upper middle class. So no issues there. The problem was in the money. It didn't go with the quality of life. If you make money, but you don't live the life, there's no worth living.
Exactly.
So I think that's where we made that decision to move here. So I just want the audience to understand that part.
Yeah. Money wasn't an issue.
Correct.
Our salary was over $200,000 a year at one point. My name is Princess.
My name is Wasi.
We're married and we live here in Ethiopia. Hi guys, my name is Princess. I am a Black American living here in Ethiopia.
I'm Wasi. That's my wife. I'm born and raised here in Ethiopia. We just came back after living in the United States over a decade to live here in Ethiopia.
Yeah, so come inside, we'll show you our house. This is the home that we live in with our 3 children. Right this way, we have an open living room, dining room area, and kind of like an inside open kitchen. Kind of just a simple family style living room, large sectional sofa here, TV there where mostly my husband and I don't watch too much TV, but the kids do.
Yep, we took over it.
Of course, this is where we have our meals. And this kitchen is kind of more for show. It's not really that functional. The main kitchen where we cook is outside. So we have a second kitchen. I'm not going to show you guys that because it's not camera ready. But we do got, the juicers, blenders, and things in here.
Yeah, in Ethiopia, usually people have modern kitchen and traditional kitchen. Mm-hmm. Traditional kitchen is usually where you do a lot of cooking stuff because it has a lot of smell, Ethiopian food, like when you cook dorowat. So it's usually outside of the house.
Yes. All right. Let's head upstairs. This is just an extra bedroom down here where we keep like our shoes and things. There's a restroom in there, but we'll head up this way. When I graduated from university, I did apply to the Peace Corps. And like I mentioned earlier, I was really focused on going to South or Central America because that is where they told me. Ethiopia, any country in Africa was nowhere on my radar at all at that time or even before. I wasn't really a person who was very focused on this continent growing up in any way. So when I received my invitation letter from the Peace Corps and it said Ethiopia on it, I was really blown away. I knew that it was a country in Africa, but I didn't know like where or what language that they spoke or what kind of food I didn't know anything at all. So it was a huge surprise. I wasn't afraid though, reading that, like, okay, I guess I'm going to Africa. I wasn't afraid. But then, yeah, that's kind of where my life journey started towards Ethiopia. Right, this is the main part of the home where we sleep and do homework, do laundry, that kind of stuff. Right here, this is the kids' room. We have 3 children, 3 boys, and they actually prefer to share a room. We have enough rooms that everybody could have their own room, but they like to sleep together. We do have mosquito nets up just because, there's mosquitoes here. Sometimes it gets hot, we have the windows open, and just so they can sleep comfortably. Obviously the youngest, the older 2 over there. This is our bedroom right next to them. Here you can see our room. We do also have a mosquito net for the same reason. Very large, spacious room. We have a balcony over there and a walk-in closet. Let's see. His and her sides over here. And then an ensuite master bathroom. Excuse our stuff in here, but you know, it's a good sized bathroom with the vanity, toilet, water heater up top, and then tub, shower, everything that you need is in here. Pretty good space master suite. Deciding to come back to Ethiopia to relocate permanently, this time with children, for me wasn't a hard decision. Ever since I left from Ethiopia after Peace Corps in 2013, I always kind of felt a longing or a desire to return back. I had grown very fond of the country and my time, my experience, and I had always thought like, man, I want to go back. We visited a couple times before we moved, but the light bulb went off when I started seeing people on YouTube actually, influencers who were talking about moving from the US to Africa, not specifically Ethiopia, but they were all Americans, Black Americans who had moved to like Tanzania or Botswana, Ghana, Senegal, like places like that. And like I said, I didn't really have any connection inside of me to any of those other places, but being married to an Ethiopian and having been in Ethiopia, I was like, wow, their stories were so intriguing and inspiring that I was like, if I were to go back to the continent, I would go back to the place I'm familiar with. So I went to my husband and I was saying, what do you think about, you know, moving back to Ethiopia? And do you want to say what your response was?
I remember saying maybe after 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, this is the reality. You know, I think it's very important to be honest on this platform. I think because, you know, this is going to reach a lot of people. You know, as Ethiopian or as African moving to United States, we see that as an end goal, you know, for us. You know, we grew up and not having anything, no cars, even we barely wear clothes, or we can wear the same clothes for years, or our brothers and sisters' clothes. So I think when we move to America, we feel like that's it, we reached the heaven, right? That's how we feel. So, you know, start working there and able to, you know, drive nice car and nice house, nice job. And having some money than I had before. And I was telling when she said, we're going to go back to Ethiopia, I said, what are we going to do there? Like, we made it, you know? So that's why I told her when she said, okay, I think we should go back to Ethiopia. And I said to her, maybe we can do after 10 years later, you know, maybe not right now. Because I think in any diaspora's mind, they always want to come back to their homeland country, but they don't want to come back empty hand. They want to come back with something. Hey, I want to have some house. I want to have some properties. I want to have some business. So I don't want to leave America without achieving that. So I think I was also one of those people that thought, I don't want to leave America until I achieve these things. But, you know, just talking back and forth, you know, there's a lot of opportunities in Ethiopia. You know, we're coming back every year to visit, and we're seeing a lot of things happening. And some people are doing so well here than we're actually doing there. And I say, you know, we can do really well here as well as we're doing in America. So that's how the conversation started, and we came together and to make the move. Yeah.
So down the hall, we have one more bedroom right here, which typically we'll use for guests. And then we have a mosquito net in here just in case the guest wants to use it. Good sized bed, nightstand, and wardrobe closet right here. All right, there's a restroom right across the hall from this bedroom for guests. This room over here is kind of a workspace for the children when they have their schoolwork to do and for their toys and things like that. They've written all the walls, but that is not what we've encouraged them to do. They just are kids and do that on their own. But yeah, so this is kind of their space. And then we have a laundry room right over here. So we'll put kind of all the dirty clothes into one space. And then once or twice a week, we'll use the laundry room over here. We have a washing machine, and the water easily comes in from the back through this pipe right here. And then this is a kind of a spinner. So it gets the clothes about 90% dry, and then we hang them outside to finish drying. Yeah. We do have a second level in our home, but that's kind of just, so the woman who stays with us and kind of helps us cook and clean, she has that space all to herself. She has her own bedroom, bathroom, and there is a terrace up there, but it's locked at the moment. So I don't think there's any reason to go up there. But yeah, this is our house, and I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you guys.
I'm gonna let him answer that because he's more in control of the finances.
Yeah, I think is really huge difference when it comes to expenses there and here. You know, just to give you a bigger picture, the amount of money we spend on our mortgage, just on the mortgage in the United States, we don't spend here for the mortgage that we spend in 1 month's payment, it will last us for a year here, if that makes sense.
Wow.
So that's how much the difference is. So we have a big house. So the rent is around right now around like $400. So in the United States we pay over $3,000 a month. $3,000 here, it can cover your entire year, car insurance, health insurance, food, any activities that we do with our children, and all of that stuff. Think about it. For 1 month, the mortgage we pay in America, it will cover us a year of our expenses here, without not including the rent of the house. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is a ground plus 2 level house. So it is a large house. We have some yard space, outdoor space around the house. So, you know, I think $400 a month is really very affordable compared to what the US is. If I went grocery shopping, which I did every week, like once a week, and that includes all food, groceries, any other things like we need in the house, like soaps or cleaning materials, you know, that kind of stuff. So I would say I spend about $200 to $250 every week in the US. So that would be up to $1,000 a month on just household items, food and, you know, cleaning supplies, stuff like that. On top of that, eating out. So usually in the US, I would prepare home cooked meals for dinner all week, and then we would eat outside like Friday night, on the weekends. So eating out per week, I would say at least $100.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I mean, you can buy your whole grocery for a week for $5. You know, things are really, I mean, there's a certain things that expensive, maybe like the house rent and maybe buying a car, but other than buy just regular groceries, they're not expensive at all. Especially when you buy from local communities like farmers, they sell it throughout the city. You know, we buy a week worth of tomatoes and onion and all of that stuff for a month, probably around, I'll say between 100 and 150 at most for groceries.
Hey Web Nation family, for years we've been sharing stories of diasporans who have relocated from the diaspora and currently living here on the continent of Africa. You guys have been enjoying the episode. Say in the comment section that you want this to be used one day. Why don't we just bring that time to now? We are inviting you to come on a trip with us to South Africa, November 2026. This is going to be an 11-day experience of we visiting cities like Cape Town, Johannesburg. We having experiences like going to the wine lands and actually experiencing South Africa, the people, the food. This is not just a vacation. This is a very well detailed experience that gives you the proper insight on people interested in relocating. The beautiful part about this is we've made it easy for you to come on this trip with us. By you just making the deposit, you get to pay the rest in installment and get yourself on a trip with us to South Africa. Scan the QR code, secure your spot, and see you in South Africa. Now guys, let's get back into the video.
For me, and I'm gonna be completely real with you guys, I did not feel like I was living. So now you can kind of see like how our two worldviews were coming together but clashing a little bit. Because as he explained, as a person who was born and raised in Africa, it's like reaching the Western world is a dream come true. But for me, I felt trapped in the US, especially at that time. In African cultures across this continent, I've heard that families are more supportive, maybe, helping each other, especially when a new child is born, taking on those kind of responsibilities to help the new mother. And, you know, in our case, we didn't live where my family was when we had started our family. So when we moved from Ethiopia back to the US, we were in the Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. And my family, I'm originally from Las Vegas, like I said, so they were on that side of the country. And it was just him and I.
Yes.
And we were really, just running on the hamster wheel. And you just have to keep going, keep going, keep going. And he was working full time, I was working full time. Then, we had our first child, and we're new parents, and trying to figure things out on our own. And it would be like, either he would get up early and get the kids ready and then go to work, or I would do it. And at that stage, it was mostly me. So he would try to go early into work, like, at dawn, like super early, yes, so that he could get off work early. And I would get up, get the kids ready, make breakfast, do all the stuff, put them in the car, bring them to daycare or school, wherever, and then go straight from there to work, and then be at work all day. And then he would come home before me, pick up the kids from daycare, bring them home, and, kind of help get things going before I got home, and then getting dinner together. Just kind of chaos, right? And then sleeping and starting over for the next day to do it all over again. And mind you, in the US, as many of you I'm sure probably know, it's not really structured for families to succeed or even to be together. So as a new mom, after my first son was born, only 7 weeks off. So when he was 7 weeks old, this is like a new baby, I had to go back to work. And we were both sleep deprived. I was still breastfeeding, and I had to pump milk at work, like get up early in the morning, pump milk for the baby during the day so he could have it at daycare, pump at work, and just like still having to be on top of your game at work while doing all of that. And I felt like I was drowning, and it got to the point where we were at our third child, and I'm like, I can't, I literally cannot continue this way. We need a new solution.
Yeah, life, it was just so busy, it's really busy, and almost like I should describe it just as the hamster wheel. You run like it's a rat in a laboratory, the rat things going everywhere, but at the same place. I think that's what happened to us there. You're running it, from house to the job to the daycare to the house. You think you're doing something, but you're not really going anywhere. It's just the same thing over. I remember sometimes, because I work like sometimes 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and I come at night around 10, my boys are sleeping. In the morning I have to get back to work, and I don't see them until the next day, almost like 24 hours later. I mean, that's a lot, and that's sad, because we live a short life, but I'm not spending the most important time with my children. Yes, sometimes the daycare even expensive. Half of the paycheck goes to the daycare, the lady who watched the kids. So yes, when you're in that just hamster wheel that my wife described it, you don't really even know that you are in that wheel. You just keep running, you keep going. If you stop, you're gonna die, or you're gonna push you to the side. So we have to keep going to keep up with life. And we just say that at some point, I see my wife going through a lot, and me not having enough sleep. And I remember one time I put my bare hand inside of the oven to take stuff out, because I wasn't sleeping well. And I say we have to live life.
Yeah.
I know we can go back to Ethiopia. I think we might not make as much money we're making right now, but I think we can live a quality life.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the whole moving part from 10 years, we cut it to just move it right away, because I see my wife struggling and myself is struggling as well. Very flexible. We control our own time. That's the key. I don't have to clock in, clock out, or punch in, punch out, however you do it. There everything is, you are timed, and they put you a ringing bell on your neck. So you have to get up a certain time in the morning, drop the kids off and to daycare or school, get to work, make sure you get to work on time. Then I have to work 10 hours, then get back to get the children, bring them to the house, and do the same thing over again. Here, we manage our time. We get up in the morning, we can have some coffee, then we can get our children ready, then drop them off at school. Then me, my wife, we can have some breakfast, some coffee. Then we can have some clients that we have. We have businesses that we're running.
Yeah.
And then by 3 o'clock or 3:30, we go get our children's, and we bring them here, help them with the homework. If we have other business that we have to do, we can also do that after that. So we really manage our time.
Yeah.
And that's the quality of life I was mentioning earlier. Nobody's calling me, hey, why you didn't show up to work, or you didn't finish the work. Like nobody calls me. I call my client, the client call me, we make the deal most of the time on my phone, we can email each other. It's a simple life. That's what we wanted.
Yeah. And that's really what I love. That's part of the reason, a big reason why we came here, is for that flexibility, for that autonomy over our schedule in our life. And like he said, even for our marriage, I think it has done a lot.
Absolutely.
We were just like seeing each other in passing in the US, whereas
Yes,
like here,
that's true.
like he said, like we can get up in the morning, we actually wake up early, we spend time together, we pray, we drink a little bit of coffee before we even get the children up for the day. So we can actually spend time together. And marriage is about teamwork. And so we are building something together, like
Absolutely.
as husband and wife, as a family, we are building something that we can actually be proud of. So, in our case, as a team, we have started a real estate marketing company in Ethiopia. And I saw somebody in the comments say, wow, you're making history. If I'm not mistaken, you are the first American to own a marketing company in Ethiopia. And that really shocked me, because I'm like, wow, like the vision is coming to life, and it's even bigger than I imagined, that, one day people will be looking back in history and being like, so the first American to start a, marketing company in Ethiopia, her name was Princess, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
And we wouldn't have been able to do something like that in the US. The market is overly saturated, highly competitive, and most businesses fail.
I think it's important to also maybe mention how we got into even that market. Why even we decide to do that. If the times allows, I'll be very happy to do it. So when we were in the United States, we were trying to buy land here, we want to buy land and build our own house. And then we're just going online and see on YouTube if there's any videos, like if there's any real marketing companies that can, as HGTV in America, and they walk into the house and they walk you through each and every house, and they show you everything. So we're trying to see if anybody's doing it. And everybody was just like kind of running through the house with their phone, and almost like hiding from you instead of actually showing you the house. And also there's no integrity, there's no transparency, there's no professionalism at all. Like you can see, it's just about, how can I get out of somebody some money? My wife and I, we said, there is a big gap between Ethiopian real estate market and diasporas outside of Ethiopia. Even if we are trying to buy land in a house, we can't able to find a nice video to see. There's some nice videos in Ghana, Nigeria, that you in South Africa, but not in Ethiopia. There's not a professional marketing people can market in the right way. So that's how we say, no, we can, there's a gap. Let's fill this gap.
Yeah.
And by coming in here and starting this business and bring the two together in the right way.
Yeah.
You know?
So we utilized my YouTube channel, which we kind of just started to document our journey. It's called Princess Living Free. And then so the channel kind of pivoted once we started focusing on showing real estate. And we were getting really good feedback from the videos. And so we decided this is a real thing. Like, people are actually interested in seeing this. And it is a service that people were looking for. So then we formalized it into a business. And it's just been taking off. And one really interesting thing is that a lot of the local brokers and marketing companies here have said the market in Ethiopia is dead. Nobody's buying properties, like, it's just stagnant. And for us, we actually are selling properties. And so what I'm understanding is people are looking for a certain quality of presentation and service before they invest their money, right? Because it's not a small amount of money. Properties here are not cheap, they are expensive. And so if I'm going to send that much money, you know, hundreds of thousands of US dollars, essentially, into a property in Ethiopia, I want to know exactly what am I buying? Like, show me every corner of the property. So that's what we've done.
Absolutely. The goal is to provide the quality product to the right customers. That's where we are, with full integrity and transparency.
Yeah. When I came to Ethiopia, I came with no expectation at all. I know the images that I've seen of Africa and the things I heard, but I didn't come expecting to see that. I didn't know what I was expecting to see, honestly. So when I got here, when we arrived with Peace Corps, it was actually nighttime, so I didn't really get to see a whole lot when we arrived. They took us from the airport pretty much straight to the hotel. They gave us, the first night, they gave us burgers and fries, like, from the hotel, because they were thinking, these are Americans, and this is probably what they like to eat. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, this is fine. So then the next morning is when, you know, the sun is up, I can see my surroundings, interact with people a little bit more, and really, I remember genuinely thinking, wow, I can't believe that I'm here in Africa. Like, I'm on the continent of Africa. And that really stood out to me, and it kind of surprised me that it did, because, like I said, I never was a person that was thinking about Africa growing up. So I was surprised to feel that, to feel almost an instant connection. And then for lunch the next day they fed us injera. Now, the only other time that I've had injera, which is, you know, typical for Ethiopian cuisine, it's kind of like a flat, like, soft bread and a little bit sour, it can be. The only experience I had before coming here was in Washington, D.C. So when I found out I was coming to Ethiopia, I purposely went to an Ethiopian restaurant just to try the food. Right. And I liked it, right? But that was like Americanized Ethiopian. So once I got here and actually tasted the food here, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I didn't like injera when I first tried it. It was more sour than the one in America. And I don't know, I guess if it was the way that they made it or what. But after I started eating it more, especially here, I began to even crave it. Like, there would be times when I was like, oh, I want to eat injera for lunch today, you know? And so it's not just the flat bread. They put different types of, like, we say what in Amharic, different types of stews and things on top of it. And you use the injera as like a utensil to pick up the food and eat. So I began to crave it, and I really liked it. And then I noticed the quality of my health began to improve, began to just even lose weight without working out. It's just eating more organically, healthier types of food, walking a lot more than what I did in the US. And yeah, I felt like at home. And, you know, for me, coming to Ethiopia was bittersweet in the beginning, because I think as a Black American, I expected to immediately be embraced back home as like, these are my people, this is family, like these are Africans, and I know my people originated from Africa at some point. So, you know, and for the most part, that was the case. Like I could pretty much blend in here, like just not really stand out unless I was speaking English, or at the time Amharic, because they could probably tell from my accent that I was American. But what really kind of impacted me and was almost hurtful was how I saw that people here kind of valued or assigned more value to the white American volunteers than they did to me and other Black Americans. And so that's something I really didn't expect to happen, because in the U.S. we don't give white people any additional privilege more than what they already have. Like they're there, and you know they're cool. Some of them are cool, no problem. But it's not like we walk around thinking, "Wow, they're so amazing." And so when I got here and I saw that and I experienced that, specifically one day I was in the rural part of Ethiopia during my Peace Corps service where I was assigned, and there was a white volunteer not too far away from me. So her and I were traveling together from our rural area to the capital city for like a meeting, Peace Corps meeting or something. And we're at the bus station. It's pretty crowded, chaotic, like, you know, typical African bus station. And so there was a line of people waiting to get on this bus that was going to the capital. She was standing there with me. We were in the line. And so they were like telling her, go ahead, get on the bus. And then I was following behind her, and the guy literally put his hand like across my chest and was like talking to me in Amharic, like, no, not you. And so, I'm like, what? And so the white volunteer was like, no, we're together, like we're traveling together, this is my friend, you know? And so that was like, wow. They, you know, and not just wow, it's like, wow, they would treat a Black person like this, but they treat themselves like this. Because he was speaking to me in Amharic, he thought that I was Ethiopian, and that opened my eyes to like, why would he treat his sister this way, you know, and give preference to the white woman. And so that kind of, it broadened my perspective on the dynamics at play, you know, here in Ethiopia specifically. Here, the biggest culture shock is language, because at the time especially, it's kind of improved now, not a lot of Ethiopians spoke English. It's not a national language, and it is taught in school, but it's, you know, like any language, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So yeah, that was the biggest adjustment, trying to learn to communicate. I don't know, that's the biggest one.
Yeah, I think to me is how the country is growing fast. I think that's something that I see. You know, I want to tell you some funny story actually. I was here for a month. We were here and a lot of things are changing. The roads are getting wider. The sidewalks are nice. So I went back to Vegas, right? So I was driving and I'm looking to the left and the right. I see a lot of white people. And I said to myself, what? There are a lot of white people in Ethiopia. And I forgot that I was in Vegas, right? That's how much the country is changing. Like I really thought, I was driving in Addis, but I was in Vegas.
Wow.
So that's even, to me, how much the country is changing here in Ethiopia.
And
developing a lot. You know, I think the current government is, in terms of changing the city and making people's life, you know, making the sidewalks and stuff like that, I think is really good. A lot of things are changing for sure. I think the economy is growing fast. So I think it's important for us to grow with the country. So that's the shock for me, for sure.
We have been able to connect with an Ethiopian woman here who is now our business partner and has become like family to us. And she's a very good friend and a great business partner, really somebody that we can trust and rely on. And you know, outside of that, we kind of landed our first big client together, and maybe later on today we can stop by there. But they have also become like family to us, right? It started out as a strictly like, this is a business relationship and very formal. We've got KPIs to hit and we've got an agreement going on. But over time, after we've been working together so closely, we've really become friends and family. And so their network has become our network. And so they're kind of helping us to grow and expand. And really, it has been miraculous, nothing short of God's grace, to be completely real, because as a very small startup, a small business, to land the client that we landed as our first one was amazing and almost unheard of, right? So that kind of gave us the boost, to kind of just take off and hit the ground running. So I think that like business is what really has helped us expand our network and create our tribe, So this is Addis Mender. This is our primary project site and actually our largest client. As you've seen, the community is very beautiful, green, peaceful, perfect neighborhood for living, for families, even for retirement. Right now, our main objective in this community is selling these apartments that you see right over here. They are under construction, but selling is going well.
Yep.
I believe we have about 14 units left at this time. We got the recreation center going up. It's gonna have a swimming pool, indoor swimming pool, outdoor basketball, outdoor tennis courts, a full gym, spa, steam sauna, all of that, men and women's beauty salons, cafes, restaurants, reading halls. We've got 4 terraces in the apartment community, and it's all right here in this beautiful Addis Mender village that you see. Sales are going well. It's a very desirable place to live.
Yeah, for those who are watching this channel, who those want to, Ethiopian particularly want to come to Ethiopia and invest and want to buy something good quality house, want to raise your children here, Addis Mender will be the right place for you. And you guys can reach out to us. We'll be very happy to help you.
Yeah, per unit we charge 99,000 birr per square meter. So each unit is 350 square meters. That includes all the common areas like elevators, parking space, just common areas around the apartment building. And so the total price is 34,650,000 birr. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you convert it to dollars, especially for the diaspora, it becomes more affordable, especially when you see the kind of neighborhood you can live in. If you're interested to, move to the continent or relocate back to Addis Ababa. So, yeah, that's our price. So here we are on the 3rd floor of the Addis Mender apartments. As you can see, each building has 2 elevators, and we have 3 buildings here. They're all identical. So they each have 2 elevators. One is strictly for people. The other one is for people and like furniture, materials, things like that. Our apartments here at Addis Mender are known as villa style. 1, because of their size. 2, because here in the middle, the apartments don't touch each other. From the ground floor all the way up, it's open. So there's only 2 apartments per floor, one on the left side, one on the right side, and they do not share a wall. So right here you can see one apartment is on my right, one is on the left. This is how large the apartment is. 350 square meters, 277 is the net size. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, 1 open, 1 closed, a maid's room with her own bathroom, an office, 3 main bedrooms, but they all have their own bathroom. And it's just a very spacious area. Let's come over here and take a look at the view of Addis Mender. You come to the side here. Of course, we're still working on construction, but the view is just beautiful. All the green areas here, the homes inside of the community. Very luxury neighborhood, and of course, as you go up higher, the view gets better and better. Yeah, this is Addis Mender.
Yeah, it's a beautiful compound.
Absolutely. having the experience with Ethiopia in the past, it wasn't so new to me anymore coming back. But what was new was coming here with children and settling in as a family now. And kind of helping the children find their way in school and, you know, just kind of getting reacquainted with life in Ethiopia. We actually had a friend help us find this rental house before we came. So that wasn't difficult. But, you know, just local shopping and doing things here and there kind of forced me to learn more of the language. So now I speak more Amharic. Salam no endet nachu, dena nachu. I'm just saying, hi, how are you guys? That's just a simple greeting in Amharic. But yeah, so I think that has helped with growing and expanding our network, especially in terms of business and friendships. So it's been good.
I think, you know, coming back from United States to Ethiopia, you know, especially with the children, it's not easy because, you know, you want to make sure, you know, can my children, you know, able to adapt to this environment because they're so used to a certain lifestyle in the United States. So, you know, I think what we did for us, you know, we make sure the transitioning was right. You know, we took them from that environment, we brought to a new environment. And we didn't just make them, okay, now you have to learn new ways. You know, we still kept some things that they used to in the United States, you know, in terms of their favorite TV shows, bring their games and all of that stuff. But gradually after 3-6 months, they start, you know, interacting with neighbors and they start seeing the city. So like they become more Ethiopian now, you know? So, but when, you know, I think for people, I always tell them when you decide to come to Ethiopia or any other African countries, first visit. Second, if you have a children, bring them, but make sure the transitioning is right. You don't want to make the children say, "Why you brought me here?" You don't want them to blame you for the transitioning. So that's always my advice for parents. Yeah, and do the right move for your children, and our children are doing really well. They're very happy, you know. They're eating well, they playing well, and they don't even feel they're outside of, you know, America or whatever they used to. They still have it here.
Yeah, and about that, you know, I think a lot of people back in the U.S., especially Ethiopian diaspora, are watching us closely, right, to see, will you succeed? And if you succeed, maybe I can come too. Because even, you know, before we left, people are saying, well, what are you going to do there? And how are you going to make money? And what about your children? What about their schooling? And, you know, all these things, they have a lot of questions, which is normal. That's natural, right? So now they're watching our progress and seeing, is this something that I can also do? And so, you know, we told people we're not going to find employment and be an employee somewhere. Right? Because if that's the case, why don't we just stay in the U.S.? There's a better salary, better job opportunities in the U.S. We are coming here to be entrepreneurs, right? To build a solid foundation and a legacy that we can pass down to our children. And so that's what we have really started here.
Yes, absolutely.
In the U.S., we did have health insurance. And so what is it, the deductible or the premium, whatever it is that they take out of your paycheck every 2 weeks in my case, for a family was around maybe $150 or $200 something. And that's even when you're not sick, they just take that money so that in the event that you do get sick, then, you know, you can go in with your insurance and you don't have to pay so much, hopefully nothing, but you already paid for it, so you are still paying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see the mind games America plays. Yeah. But yeah, so here the cost is much lower. It's free if you use government hospital. If you use the private hospitals, for the kids, like if I take them in, if they have a cold or some kind of symptoms going on that I want to look into further, usually have to buy like a card. It's just a paper card. Basically you are registering with the clinic, your name and personal information. And then that is about, on average, I would say 800 birr.
That's like around $3.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. Then you have that dollar conversion.
Yeah, $3
and,
$4.
Yeah, so very, very inexpensive compared to what I just said with the US is charging me every 2 weeks. And medicines are the same, you know, $2, $3 or less to take medicine if you need it. But the quality. Now, the quality here, like for minor things, it's fine. Like we have found a couple good doctors here that are perfect for the children, very thorough, kind. That's been great. But you don't want to experience like a serious medical situation in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Because that's when then costs can start adding up, especially in the private hospitals. Government is free, but you might go in and not come out. So that's something to be mindful of.
I think also that, you know, the amazing part here, since we moved here, we didn't get sick at all. Like we are healthy. We're very healthy. I think, yes, in America, you might have a quality health system, but if you're eating a junk, you know, chemical, poisoned food, you're gonna get sick. You know, so you kind of like eating it to get sick there. Here, we're eating it to get healthy every day because everything we eat is healthy. Just to give an example, there was somebody that I know, his tooth was hurting him, and so he wants to take it out, and he spent around, I think, over $1,000 to go to a dentist.
In the US?
In the US. So mine also was kind of have the same situation with my tooth that I want to take it out. And I was gonna do it there, and just my deductible is like $500. And I said, you know what? Maybe I will just keep waiting. And I came to Ethiopia. I said, this thing's bothering me. I just wanna take it out. So I went to a doctor here, and it was a nice doctor and nice office. And he looked at it. I thought they're gonna do some kind of surgery, and he just numbed, and in 2 seconds, it's already out. And I only pay 500 birr. That is at $2. Okay, I'm just kind of putting it out there, the difference, you know. There is a great people here in Africa. There's a great doctors, great service. You know, I think the problem we have the wrong mindset. I heard there was a saying, there was a black doctor, and there's a doctor, black doctor, and there's a white man standing in the same room with a patient, and they ask her, which doctor do you want? And the lady say, I want the white one. The white wasn't a doctor, but the black was, you know, because of his white, we think the service is better, or he's better than the black one. That's not true. There are a lot of African doctors. They are very brilliant, very smart. Some of them actually in the United States, they're doing great job. And also some of them, they came back and are doing great things here in Ethiopia as well.
Yeah.
So because it's black, it doesn't mean he's not smart. Or because we are in Ethiopia, it doesn't mean the healthcare is horrible. You know, stay healthy. That's the key.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what matters the most.
The Ethiopian culture is vibrant. It is very much traditional, which is good. Ethiopia as being a non-colonized nation on the continent, the only one actually. They have maintained so much of their traditions and their culture, and that is a beautiful thing to be a part of. I think the food is good. Like I was saying, I've grown accustomed to it. The pace of life is slower here. Like we're still busy doing work, but you know, it's not so much hustle and bustle and everybody's like go, go, go. Like, you know,
Right.
It's definitely a slower pace, and people take time for coffee and, you know, to sit with one another, to talk. So I enjoy that part.
I think for me, of course, I'm Ethiopian, you know, born, raised here, and lived the life. Also, I think for me, I have both experiences, you know, living in Ethiopia and in the United States and coming back here. I think just for me, just the quality of life, even though we're just busy, but the business is not stressful.
Yeah.
That's like, we don't get to a point that we're so stressed and our blood pressure goes high in other, like we were in the United States.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of our clients, we can invite them into the coffee shop and we can talk there, you know, with our clients. So the life is really good.
Yeah. I think living in Ethiopia has really made me more patient. Because there are so many things to be frustrated about, to be angry about here on the continent. It is completely foreign and different to the American way of life. I don't think anything here in terms of like culture and the way of doing things is similar. And so when you may have business to do, it may not go according to the schedule that you've set. Or, you know, even trying to get the right people for a certain signature, you might have to jump over a few hurdles to get to them. You know, and the way that people think and understand here is different because it's a different worldview, a different perspective. And so I've definitely learned to be more patient, try to be more understanding of other people and the way that they think and do things. Spiritually, I have had to lean on my faith and God more than ever. Like, when you come to Ethiopia or to any African country, do not come expecting to find employment. You are going to come as an entrepreneur. You're going to come and start a business, whether you have it already in your mind or whether you're going to get here and find it, right, once you arrive. And that takes a lot of faith. Yeah, so many people have told us how brave we are because it is scary. It's scary to leave your comfort zone. It's very scary to walk out into something not knowing what may come. Am I going to succeed? You know, is my business going to work? So faith has played a major, major role in our life and even in our success, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, as Ethiopian, I think I know my country very well. I know my people very well. I think, you know, as my wife mentioned, I think patience is very important. You know, things kind of go slow here. People don't stress. You know, in America, you have to like do it now. Things have to be done now. It's a microwave life there. You know, put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, and you take it out. Here is more oven process. It takes, you know, slowly cooked, but more delicious, might take time. You know, people are nice. You know, people, I think, you know, even though there's no anger, you know, people don't angry and punch each other or kill each other in other places. You know, here you honk at somebody and you're just telling him move from my way or drive faster. You know, on the street, if you go to America honking on somebody, you need a fight. You know, right. So I think patience is the key. Whether you are driving on the street with the traffic, or while you're waiting on your food at the restaurant, or, you know, while you're doing your businesses. You know, I think that's important. The most important part, as my wife mentioned, is your faith. I think spiritually, there's nothing greater than doing God's purpose, you know, listening to his voice and understanding what he's saying. You know, the Bible talks about there's a money plans in man's heart, but there's only God's purpose that prevails. You know, the key is, what is my purpose on this earth? It doesn't matter the plans and the visions that you have to have the purpose that he has for you. Yeah. So you have to listen to that part. If you do it, if you know God is with you and you just hold into that, it's the key. You know, my wife and I, we get a chance to get up every morning to pray together, start the day. You know, being grateful for getting up with out of our body, from our head to our toes, that works. You know, we glorify him. You know, we thank him for the blessing. For the abundance, for protections, for provisions, and that's how we start. I mean, we couldn't able to do that there, but here we actually able to do those things. So we're doing really good, and God is on our side. Yeah. And it's not by our strength, but by His guidance and mercy and grace.
Yeah. So definitely the businesses that we've started. I think any business is more of a possibility here on the continent in Ethiopia or, you know, wherever, than in the US. Because like I said, the markets in the US, everybody has done everything. And so you have to find really, really new, innovative and creative ways to do something that somebody else is already doing. Absolutely. And then it also costs a lot more money to start. Yes. What I have found here is that starting the businesses that we have, it didn't take a whole lot of investment. Like starting a YouTube channel, you really just need a phone. and then you go from there. And what I've even learned with having a YouTube channel is that it opens up new doors and possibilities that you didn't even think about doing. So the real estate came out of YouTube, but I had never thought I'm going to start a YouTube channel to do real estate, you know? And in the US, I don't even think I could go and do that type of thing. One, because it's not as necessary. There are already things in place that kind of help people browse through properties pretty easily. But yeah, so there's opportunities here in a developing country that exist that don't exist elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the key. Like in the United States or in Europe, I think it's already done. You know, I had a gentleman yesterday who's one of the investors here in Ethiopia, and he's investing a lot. And he said to me, my country, you know, where he's from, he says dead. Like literally is done. I think the same thing for America. I think the business saturated. As my wife mentioned, if you want to do something, you have to invest it in a bigger and heavily way. Probably need a lot of investors, so you have to raise more capital to do it. You know, here, I mean, if you have the small capital and you can bring the same business in America and you see in Europe to Ethiopia, there's a lot of things. Like, for example, if I want to give people some ideas, drive-through, like fast food. The fast food here can be a organic food, you know, but there's no fast food here. There's no fast food, there's no drive-through coffee place. There is no a nice car wash place. These are businesses that can be invest a little bit but make more money from. So you don't need that much here, as long as you have the vision and the idea and the goals in place to achieve it.
Right. And so the gentleman who said that his country is dead is a European talking about a European country, and the same is true in America. America is also dead. It's not growing, it is dying. And so that should be an opportunity for you to realize, how can I pivot from a dying nation to a growing one? We see Chinese here, Arabs here, Europeans here,
Absolutely.
in Africa, not just Ethiopia, across the continent, investing and doing business, because Africa is the final frontier, right? We've gone through Europe, we've gone through the Americas, Asia, all that stuff, and now Africa is the final frontier. What's left after this? You know, Antarctica, or
exactly.
like this
That's
is the
what
final
things
frontier.
are expensive now. You know,
Yeah.
3 years ago and 4 years ago, we're telling people, and then you have to invest, you have to buy land, you have to buy a house. People saying, "Oh, Ethiopia is not stable. Ethiopia is this," and I prefer spend my dollars in Europe, in the US. Why I want to buy a $300,000 house? You know, guess what? That house now is $600,000.
Yeah.
You know, now you are complaining and angry, frustrated because you can't afford it. You know, I think this mindset of Africa is just some trash continent that nothing good comes out of it is wrong. The Chinese are seeing, as my wife mentioned, the Arabs are investing heavily. You know, the whites are coming, and you are staying there, and you're gonna be left out. You know, I think my brothers and sisters, and my African brothers and sisters, I think it's a time really to come and just come and see what's happening.
Right, because time won't wait for you.
Correct. Don't be left behind. My experience, I wish, you know, before moving here to Ethiopia, you know, we did big things, you know, big cars, you know, America, big car, big house, you know, big everything, right?
Big vacation.
Big
yeah.
vacations. But I was, as an Ethiopian, I didn't thought about investing more back to Ethiopia. It's more about having more in America, because when you live in that society, it's about showing off in a bigger way. You know, I think if I was saved more, invested more in Ethiopia than I spent on bigger things in America, I would have been in a better position financially, I would say, than I am today. And so my takeaway or my advice to other people, big things in America that you're trying to achieve, it's not worth it. It's better to stay small there and send you money to the continent, wherever you're from, and build something big here.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to those who are outside of Africa.
That's a great advice. Definitely reduce your expenses as much as possible. like having the big house and everything was nice, but it wasn't necessary. And now that our eyes are open to life here and what life has to offer here, I wish that we didn't even do that, you know,
Absolutely.
that we had stayed in a small apartment and, you know, with all the money we were making, like I said earlier, where did all of our money go? Well, the big house, the big car, the vacations, the childcare, all of that. It was like, man, if we had taken that salary we had and sent it here, there's so much more that we could have done. But, you know, hindsight is 2020. And now, you know, that we have this vision and that we're here, what I have learned is that you don't need as much here as you needed in the US, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
We don't need a $200,000 salary a year here in Ethiopia to live a good life, like a really nice quality life, and still can go on vacations and do things with the children and eat what we want, where we want. Like, you don't need a overabundance of money, you know?
Absolutely.
It has been worth it so far. I mean, I tried to live life in that way anyways, just without regrets. That's the point of going through life.
Exactly.
You're living, you are having an experience that you go through. Sometimes you make the right decision, sometimes you don't. But even with the wrong decision, it doesn't mean life is over, you know?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, as I mentioned earlier, and I always tell people, do it when you're young. At least you don't wait until you turn 80 and regret, you know, I wish if you did it when you were in the 40s. And I always say to people this way: when you face the person that you're going to be in 70, now if I'm in my 30s and I'll be 70, I want to see my future 70 in a no regret zone. That would be the advice I'll give to people. Don't meet yourself when you're 70 in the regret zone. Do it now. You know, if it doesn't work out, at least you'll find out soon. You still have time to do it again. You know, the only failure is when you quit. There's no other failure. When you quit, that means you stopped. That's the only time you fail. Other than that, everything's experience. It's no failure at all. So that's don't fear, and then keep going. Try. It doesn't work out, you repeat. You learn from it. You move on. So that would be my advice to those people who are afraid, scared. Try it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and then you try something else.
Yeah. What I would tell myself, if I could go back before I moved here, don't take off any rose-colored glasses on Africa or Ethiopia, you know, and don't kind of make it over sensationalized, like, oh, this is the best place ever, it's going to be amazing. I would literally tell myself, there will be challenges. You will succeed, you will be successful, but don't look at it with rose-colored glasses on. Take a more sober approach to entering a new place in a new country, and also spend less in the US. Reduce your expenses. Absolutely. So that you can have more when you go there. And I think that goes for anybody, as an individual or with a family. I think that goes for anybody. Children, I don't think it's hard to move here with children. I really don't. Children are so adaptable, you know, and I don't think that is really should weigh too heavily on your decision if you're thinking to move here. With children or without children, they will be fine. They will thrive, I'm sure. Okay, if you are afraid of even coming to visit, I would say just do it. Like, put the fear aside and just do it. Plan out an itinerary of things that you can do and see so you don't kind of get lost in the mix. Reach out to people who are on YouTube and who already live in the countries that you're interested to visit. They can kind of help point you in the right direction. I know a lot of us provide consultation services, so you can reach out and ask, like, okay, where should I stay? Where should I go to eat? You know, and there are people here on the ground who are willing and able to kind of help you, especially for a short-term visit.
For me, I always tell people, you don't want to get to your 80 or 70, 80 and look back and say, I wish if I did it. You don't want to have that regret in your life. And that would be my personal advice. It's better to do it. There is no change. Or I'll say this, you can't do the same thing, expect a different result. If you say, I don't want to leave, you will stay there and die. Life is short. So it's better to find out when you are in 40s or you're in 30s than finding out in your 80s. So I say to listen to your heart and do it. And as my wife mentioned, people that are on the ground that can help you, that can guide you, that we can give you advice, and maybe kind of show you around. And don't wait, and do it now, not later.
I hope you guys really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
We were trying to be as real and honest with you guys because I know there are a lot of people back home in the US who are considering moving to this continent and maybe have several countries in mind. And so we wanted to give you guys a real understanding and expectation for Ethiopia. So
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely. I think that's a key. I think for us, while we're doing our marketing business or consulting people moving to Ethiopia, and we always want to be, we want to give you a raw information, just with truth and integrity and transparency, because it's better to tell you the truth and make you sad than telling you the lie and make you happy.
right.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
We want to tell you how it is. And if you want to try it, you can try it. It will be, if you fail, it will be your experience. If you succeed, that will be your experience, and then you share with somebody else as well. So what you get from us, and then you always get the truth.
Yeah.
So integrity, transparency, professionalism is part of our identity. That's what we're here for. That's why we're doing it. That's what we'll continue to do. So if you guys, watching channel, and if you guys have any questions about Ethiopia and you want to reach out to us, we definitely have put our information for you.
Yeah, for sure. It is a great, even with all the challenges and ups and downs or whatever you may hear, Ethiopia is a beautiful country and it's a great place to live.
It's growing very fast. One of the fastest growing economy in sub-Saharan Africa.